we're back. Hi, guys. Hi, we're back. All three of us, safe and sound, and Natcha too.
Yes. Yeah. I think Natcha's computer crashed. Next thing we need to focus on for this podcast is fixing up Natcha's setup.
100%.
Yes. But yes, we are definitely back. So sorry, everyone. Thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for coming back.
Computery stuff.
Yes. And thank you for sharing out this link to get more people in here. We love you. And yeah, so we're just going to start that last story over.
Yeah, I had something to make you guys cringe and maybe laugh.
Oh, yes. Again, what were we calling him? Texas Nick Fury. Texas Nick Fury.
I call him a facial thing that I do. It's like this. I just don't like him at all.
How do you spell that?
You don't. Like Prince, formerly known as Prince. Just Republican representative from Texas, Dan Crenshaw, made a few true-to-the-bone comments responding to the so-called new socialism movement happening on the extreme left. I know that's my right, but...
When you're so far to the left that the extreme left is your right.
Yeah, 100%. When NR's Kevin Williamson asked whether he thinks the left is increasingly serious about actually wanting to institute a slate of socialist policies, Crenshaw replied, "I do fear that they actually mean what they say. They haven't called for total nationalism of many parts of the country. But they do talk about a lot of things that look an awful lot like Venezuela. A lot of things that do have really bad results." He also said that the debate between capitalism and socialism isn't always about substantive arguments. It is really a culture war deep down, he says. It's about whether a personal responsibility should be valued or it shouldn't be, pretty much. None of that he understands.
Right.
He doesn't know what any of those words mean.
This is just a cultural war. We mean what we say, but we don't know.
Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, okay?
Make your bed.
This is America. And we're not handing out bootstraps either. You got to figure that out.
You're a baby without bootstraps? Tough luck.
Right. God, some people don't even have boots, let alone bootstraps.
Right?
One of my favorite things about that is that he's talking about national, like, he's saying the thing that he's talking about incorrectly. And I don't want to, like, repeat his error, but he's saying that, like, he wants, that we, the left, us, want to nationalize things. That's almost correct. That's almost, like, he has the idea in his head. He's vocalizing it wrong.
Right. He's getting parts from a lot of them and putting them together wrong. A lot of wrong. Yes, I think that countries, I don't care who, it doesn't matter which country, a country that has a lot of resources, that they're rich in a resource, could be gold, diamond, whatever it is. Nationalizing it means that the resource income helps the people that live there. This is very basic.
Yeah, the people get it back. It's like
Alaska does it with oil.
Alaska rocks, I guess. I mean, it's cold. I would never go there. I want to stay here.
Yeah.
By Ohio. No, but it reminds me of pharmaceutical companies. They buy the drugs that we find from like colleges, like college research done, and when we find new drugs, they're like, hey, we'll buy the patent from you. But how did we achieve that like research? How did we fund it? It's publicly funded.
Right, most of them are, yeah.
So what's happening is the public is putting their tax money into these colleges, making new drugs. And then a drug company says, hey, I'd like the benefits from that. So can I just give the money to this college, which we're giving money to the college? And so they take more money and sell our returns to a company. And then we defend capitalism.
Right. And then people without insurance buy that medicine from the new owner of its recipe, essentially, for $1,300 a pill.
Yes. And so to
what's happening?
Bring this back to Venezuela. So they get the profit from their oils and like it's put back into their society, right? Socialism, society. And housing. They have, what is it, Citgo.
Yes, they do.
Now, what's the problem with that? Do you want to tell them?
Go for it.
Okay. The problem with that is that America is keeping the profits that Citgo is making for Venezuela and not giving it back to the country.
Not giving it back to the government.
Right, the government. Like, they're giving it to Guaido. Maduro, they're giving it to the opposition party because that's who we back. So we get to choose who we give them. Like, we might as well just give it to Colombia.
Can we just do a caveat real quick? Guaido is a party in Venezuela. He is one of the members of this party. And he's not even equivalent to a Nancy Pelosi, which we don't even have an opposition party in this country. We have two parties. One of them's pro-life, one is. That's pretty much what we have. And so,
we have Bernie Sanders
and then we have Our Revolution and Justice Democrats and the new people that are like, wait a minute, what the hell happened? But their opposition party. But I'm just going to use Nancy Pelosi because if we did have an opposition party and there was a leader, so just to make it, this is the equivalent of Nancy Pelosi saying, I'm president, and countries all over the planet going, she's the president. I don't care what side you would be on. Nobody would be okay with that. That's not how any of this works. It's so frustrating to sit and watch and read and find out everything that's going on, and none of it's exhausting. It's exhausting. Venezuela is exhausting.
It is, because there's just so much bullshit. This was one of the stories where I really had to realize Fox, CNN, MSNBC, doesn't matter which side, they're all funded by big oil and like fucking war companies. Yes. Boeing. So you really can't trust any of their reporting. It's kind of like RT. You can't trust them on all the Russian news.
Right, but on a lot of other things, yeah. You should get a lot of different, input. Yes.
So, anyways, Luciano, I want to give you space to talk.
Yeah, your turn.
Thanks for coming on our show to us.
To listen to
we
us.
We hope you come back.
So with Dan Crenshaw, the big brain of the Conservative Party now, Mr. Smart Nationalization Man over here.
We're only
he's wrong. That's not like. Like, I know that's not exactly like a newsflash to anyone. I don't think that anyone who comes on to like this particular podcast or anyone who's even like in our sphere of YouTubers, which is like all of our friends, a whole bunch of people who like watch the stuff but like don't comment, shadow watchers and stuff. Like, I don't think that anyone would watch our stuff expecting us to agree with Dan Crenshaw.
No.
In this particular case, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Just because he's in Congress doesn't really give him any authority. It doesn't really mean that he's actually listening to people, which is the thing that's really obvious.
And that's so sad. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what makes me so angry. Because one, you got some spotlight because of Saturday Night Live. Two, You got a cool ass eye patch.
Yeah.
You could be such a good influence.
Yes. That does look pretty cool.
He does. He does.
He looks pretty badass.
You could be Texas Nick Fury.
Right?
You could be that guy. And all you have to do is fact check the shit that you're being spoon fed.
Right. Yeah.
Like, it really doesn't take much. There are sources everywhere. And you're either lying or you're not doing your due diligence and you're a congressman. And that's what really upsets me. I mean, I understand if you want to pander to your
base.
Yeah, your base. But still, like, don't fucking lie. There's other things you can call us out for, I'm sure.
He wouldn't have anything to talk about. Did I say that out loud?
They could try.
The left is a perfect institution.
Right.
The opposition party is great.
Oh, yeah. Just use this.
Right here.
Yeah, but go over.
Oh, yeah. Hold on, I'm doing stuff.
She's
that's
learning
not
computer
not
stuff.
what I'm supposed to do. So.
As someone who needs to learn computer stuff, I can relate to like the expression of confusion right now.
There's a lot of but.
Yes. To make sure things like what happened tonight don't happen so much.
Yeah.
Lindsay my wife built Christy a computer, and we brought it down. So this is also probably the only chance we'll get like together right now to thank everyone for that.
Yay!
For that fundraiser that we had in December. We raised $1,200 for Christy's computer, and we haven't been able to build the computer yet. So last week we're like, hey, what's up with it? And she's like, we're just waiting on a couple things. So we're like, all right, let's just get her done. Yeah. So we like fucking hurried up and got it done. It was like, it's going to cost a little bit to send it down to you. So we're just going to come down and bring it to you. And that's what we did. So we we rushed, and I got work off, and
Stacy
got some work off, and we just came down and did the thing.
Lindsay's here.
Yeah. Lindsay's here.
No job.
She got no job.
Yeah, you do. You have
She's got
two
the boys,
humans.
which we brought. Yeah.
Right. That's a job.
Yes.
Believe that.
So there's an update for everyone. So super duper huge thank you to everyone who shared links, who liked videos, who donated to Christy's fundraiser. Yeah. Thank you so much for contributing in any way that you possibly could.
Yeah.
Really, really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So thank you, everyone, because what she does is so important to the community, and especially this show. If she's not, like, I got to write like our whole little script thing today. That was nice because I felt useful. But most of what we do here comes from her brain.
Noggin.
It comes so much from her, and then I try to do my due diligence, and
fact check me.
Yeah, I try to fact check. I try to just keep up with it.
Devil's advocate.
And I try to make sure it makes sense.
Because sometimes I don't.
That. Yeah, but if Christy doesn't have the means to do research, what we do would not really be possible. Yeah. It'd be much more boring with just me because I'm not pretty enough. Anyways, so again, thank you, everyone. Thank you. I am pretty enough tonight. Christy did my hair.
Yeah,
I've never gotten a real haircut before.
You're supposed to go. There you go.
We should show them our eyebrow picture.
Okay, but I can't do that.
I can show them. Just
I don't know how to do the one eyebrow at all. Okay,
that's why it's funny.
It's not that funny.
It's a little bit funny. All right. So, anyways, that all said, back to wherever we were.
Aww.
Thanks, Jim Major.
Jim can be my other word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are two very different moods in the chat. I just read Jim Major's comments, and then Bub under it.
She did get to touch Mac's face. Here, you can put it on screen.
This one's for Beelzebub. Right here.
And then give one to Matt.
Oh, for Matt?
Yeah.
This one's for Matt.
Thank you.
Make it real awkward.
Ugh. I'm gonna.
I didn't actually do it, though.
Don't tell him that.
I mean, you have two little boys. Nothing's too really gross. Right? I'm right here.
All right. So that was me just looking for more Dan Crenshaw today. This is the actual story that I found, and we're just pretty much just taking quotes from what I found.
Because it was for fun. We were like, look at this
for fun
idiot story.
So let's just go with what he's saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well-intentioned liberalism always leads to progressivism. There's no choice there, Crenshaw said. Once that action is taken, the only thing you can run on is totalitarianism. You have no choice. I think many people out there calling themselves socialists, the people on magazine covers, are not real socialists. Traditionally, socialists had theories of power, theories of history. They understood what they were talking about. I don't see in this new socialism. There's a lot of sass in it. There's a lot of pointing at countries that are not actually socialists and saying that they are.
Yeah.
There's no sass in it.
There's no sass.
And they had theories of history, okay?
Yeah.
Because that makes, I understand everything he was talking about now.
Before we go,
I love the idea that in the age of the internet and the age of like the by far the most educated human population in all of history, bar none.
Information.
Like all of these socialists just have no idea what they're talking about.
No.
Yeah, we're just completely off our rocker. So I want to get your take on this, my favorite quote, or my second. I'm not sure because this next one's pretty good too. Well-intentioned liberalism always leads to progressivism. There's no choice there. Continuing, once that action is taken, the only thing you can run on is totalitarianism.
Yep.
You have no choice.
Nope.
Break it down however you want.
You gotta have dictator.
You're
That's
allowed to curse if you want to. And if you need to drink,
I agree with the first part. Well-intentioned liberalism. I'm not gonna say always, so I'll agree with like the emotion behind it.
Okay,
Well-intentioned liberalism usually leads to progressivism.
Right.
All right, that's not that bad. Now it's the next part where it's like, all right, you lost me, Dan, because he's like, all right, after that, dictators. The equation goes
dictator.
liberalism. So like if we had to write it out and be nerds and we had to be mathematicians about it, the calculation goes well-intentioned liberalism plus time equals progressivism. Progressivism equals dictator. Nope, that ain't it, Chief.
That doesn't, no.
That just ain't it.
That's not how any of this works.
So one of the things I really want to point out here is that he is talking about socialism.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
New
socialism. Okay,
right.
So like look up this too in the dictionary if you want to. What is socialism?
Right.
like what's just like the base of the word?
Yeah, that's he doesn't
society.
understand it.
It's basically it's not specifically written in our Constitution, obviously. But we the people being the government.
Right. The
or
social,
over it.
Yeah. The society.
Yeah.
Social society.
It's there enough to not be against the Constitution.
Right.
Is one.
And
Two,
you can have
it doesn't
with
lead to a
capitalism.
dictator.
Right.
If
No,
you
it has
put-
nothing to do with a leader.
Yeah. If it does, then it's not socialism.
Right.
It's just not.
That's not what happened. You elected a
It's just
dictator.
not.
That's
Yeah.
what happened.
Yeah.
Or a dictator rose to power, or however it happened.
They might as well call it lesbianism. It's just not.
Right, it still isn't. Yeah.
We're just calling shit whatever we want to call it that.
Words no longer have meaning.
They
We
don't.
did it, guys.
They have no meaning.
Liberals
But,
broke the
you know,
dictionary.
If people actually, obviously people, he knows, even if he understands all this, which I highly doubt he doesn't.
I don't know.
But if he did, he knows that many people who will vote for him have no clue. They don't know. So when they see this, they think, oh, I knew it. That commies, dirty commies, socialists, all of that to them is fear because they've never actually took a course on economic systems because it's an economic system, you know, that And you can have it with others. It's mixed economies are the best. Nobody's saying they want a complete, like, tomorrow let's just switch everything. And if people understood that, they wouldn't be scared. That's why he cannot let people understand that. He cannot make it like, well, let's find out what these words mean and find out what they actually want. And no, it's got to be, listen, dictators. They want dictators. Fair. Socialist means dictators. If you want social policies that will help you, you're a dirty commie.
One of the worst things I ever learned in high school during government class, and I would love to know if you learned, or either of you learned about the same thing, is that like Democrats want your taxes.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the end of it. Like, you don't get any returns on it. The government just wants your money.
See, in
for
school,
whatever
I didn't learn, I didn't learn that at all. I had an amazing government teacher. I learned that Democrats fought for civil rights really hard in high school. I learned that really hard. I had really good teachers. So I always associated them, even though I was raised in a Republican family, that when I was able to vote, I was voting Democrat. Like, period. Because I was on the civil rights side. It really had a big impact on my, like, who could be against that? Like, what kind of bullshit is that? Especially as a 14-year-old kid, I thought, well, they're just a bunch of meanie heads. I'm like, why would you vote for a meanie head? Why would you want that? I don't want meanie heads.
Yeah. Luciano, what do you think of this?
What I learned was basically that Democrats want higher taxes for specific reasons. Not that they want higher taxes just because, I don't know, they want your money.
Because government.
Like, what I learned when I was in my civics and economics class was like that there were different types of policies that generally required more expenses, and that in order to pay for those expenses, there were people who proposed raising taxes on the rich and on, like, the wealthy. And that was accurate. I mean, it's not, like, obviously it's not quite that simple, but that's more or less accurate.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like we all learn like a little bit different in high school. It really depends on the area. Yeah, and I'm from Ohio, Northwest Ohio. I'm like, I can't.
They're gonna teach you very, very conservative things in a very conservative state. Yes. Unfortunately.
Yes, I live in a very hot pink state, and not in a good way. But like, I went to high school in, like, the Kentucky of Ohio. And
yikes! What a description.
Max said, "I'm my own grandpa."
Pretty much. I mean, I'm not. But I went into that. But yeah, it's just Trailer Park, Kentucky down up there, around there.
You're my
around
sister.
them parts.
You're my sister.
You're my sister.
You're my sister.
That said, so
I'm bad.
I hope this has been entertaining for everyone. Like, we're almost too much like when we're not on the same screen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this last part I thought was especially wonderful to have read for the skeptics here in our midst. So Williamson was one of the people who was talking to...
My headphones fell out. Give me a second.
Hopefully.
Okay. Wait. They're back.
We're waiting.
There was two people from National Review, I think, talking to Crenshaw, and his words were also put in the report that I read. So go ahead.
Okay. Williamson from National Review, for his part, likened much of the policy platform embraced by the New Democratic Socialists to a belief in magic, and argued that, like those who believe in magic, socialists will eventually be forced into harsh confrontation with reality. It's the
Quotations.
rediscovery of magic. They think that if you write it in the right words down on a piece of paper, that changes the underlying reality. Williamson said, read things like the Green Deal. They say that if we create this legislation, we can do X, Y, and Z. And you have to explain that even if we pass law saying we have to use an alternative to airplanes, those alternatives don't exist. Their battle is with the underlying reality.
There's so many layers to this. One of my favorite parts of this is that Dan Crenshaw is a Christian. So,
Yes.
I mean, like, look, this is a mean thing for me to say, especially as someone who's not an anti-theist, but, like, Dan Crenshaw is a Christian. He really shouldn't be talking shit about people believing in magic.
Right.
Also, my favorite...
This was Williamson. This was
Oh,
Williamson.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
he said
But, yes. But, I mean, like, I'm sure it would have been recorded if he said anything against it.
Right, because he didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't.
He was still, yeah. It was part of that conversation.
Right.
But go on.
I also really like the idea that there are no alternatives to airplanes. like boats don't exist or
But
trains.
see, they can't let the narrative come out that nobody's saying that.
Right.
For me, I think, even if I had the means to have a private jet, why wouldn't I just fly in an airplane? Like, and I'm not saying the leaders of the world obviously need a jet. Of course, I want them to be safe and be able to get where they need to get in a matter of, of course. Yeah. Nobody's saying that.
No.
We're saying that you don't need 3 jets. You don't need 2 private jets. And there's nothing wrong with having a conference across the world and taking a plane there, or visiting family and nobody cares about that. Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying you can't. The whole hamburger thing I almost peed laughing so hard. Because they want you to not have cows where are you getting this?
No,
but they can't let the narrative get out of this is exactly what was said. How about don't have hamburger 7 days a week? That's all. That's it.
The narrative is right now, and stop me if I'm off my rocker. Is the left wants to ban everything.
I know.
Right? The right wants just
freedom.
Yeah, freedom. They want libertarianism, right? Or they want fascism. They want to be as free as possible, and they want the markets to be as free as possible. Okay. And I'm like, I get it to a point, right? But when you live in a society, you need to make sure that person A's rights isn't stopping on person B's rights.
Always.
That's our issue. I'm sorry if me being an atheist offends your Christianity, but I'm not saying you can't practice at home. I'm an anti-theist. I am an anti-theist. Yeah. I think you shouldn't believe in fairy tales and untrue things.
But I will still fight for your right to believe in whatever you want. Check
out my recent talk with Jim Majors, shameless plug, on Great Skeptic, because it was a really, really fun conversation. But my point is the belief aspect. When you believe untrue things, then just speaking in one of those topics that we talked about, when you're talking about death, if you believe in an afterlife, and that's all you believe in, and someone passes away, you grieve and you try to move on, and then you come to the realization that there's no afterlife. Well, now you just have to mourn all over again. Yeah. It's still twice. Yeah, it's still detrimental. Mm-hmm. So that alone, I feel like, is justification enough for me to be an anti-theist. Yeah. But I also believe in freedom. I'm a lefty, and I believe in freedom. I believe in freedom of speech. I believe that hate speech.
Most of us do.
Yeah. I even believe that hate speech should be allowed to be said.
Right, because there's going to be repercussions.
Yeah.
And that's not... that's the part that makes me mad when they're like, but it's my freedom of speech. Right, and it's also theirs to talk shit to you for saying some dumb shit. Yeah. They don't get that. You're trying to take my freedom of speech away because Because you won't stop replying to my dumb shit.
Yes. Call to violence. That's a new story. Just hateful speech. And like, yeah, cool. Say it, but I'm gonna say you're an asshole because you are. That's all there is to it. Like, and get over it.
Yeah, don't be mean.
If you don't want to talk shit, or if you don't want shit being talked to you, don't talk shit, right? But other than that, like, I hope you have every freedom to say what you feel like you need to say. And do, as long as it doesn't stomp on someone else.
Right. It's funny that the party that's for freedom is like Orwellian, because it's for their freedom to do things how they want, and for you not to be able to do things how you want. But you can do things the way they want to do. Oh, you're totally free to do that. That's the freedom they're talking about.
The thing with them is that they're not even the party of freedom. They're the party of do as we say, otherwise you're going to get stomped on. Because, like, you're not free to be a prostitute. And, like, regardless of how you feel about prostitution, I'm extremely pro-sex work. Like, that is one of the issues that I will, like, 100%. Stand on that hill and die on it. Because it's one of the fundamental bodily autonomy arguments. And it's the same thing, like, it's like the same thing with abortion. We should live in a society that creates conditions where abortion is unnecessary, but you should be free to get an abortion. Like, these are not complex things. And if people don't like these things, they shouldn't be trying to outlaw them, which is what the Republicans want. At least modern day Republicans. Maybe not all Republicans in the past or in the future, but right now, the reality we're in, most Republicans want to outlaw these sorts of things, which is not what a party of freedom would want.
No,
you would think not. You would think not.
Right.
So
that's how they subverted all these words, so many of them, and they made the opposite. It's just, it's so frustrating. It's all the time. It's like code word for bigot is liberty, and code word for draconian is freedom, and
yeah. So that's but so I, like, touching base on that, I wanted to go over something else, and I forgot until now that I wanted to go over with you. And Christy already knows what I'm doing because we share the same screen right now. So something I wanted to talk to you, especially being someone who works for the American Humanists Association, not organization, right? Association.
Yeah.
I've been trying to make a list of, like, pillars of humanism. Yeah. Because what I was explaining myself is just like, right, you don't stomp on other people, and, like, you want everyone to have freedom. And that's more or less, in a political nutshell, what humanism might be, right? But I wanted to talk to you maybe about what you would say are pillars of humanism, because I have a lot of viewers, especially in our atheist community, right? And a lot of them don't know if they're humanists or not. Right. Some of them don't know where they lean politically. And, like, you guys can differ from us. Like, that's absolutely fine. What I really want to try to figure out is just what humanism is, because I feel like I have a decent grasp of it. But I would like to try to make some kind of pillars of humanism. And you don't have to say, like, you're speaking for your company and this is what it is. But brainstorm with us a little bit, if you will, because I have education, free speech, logic, morality. I think are pretty good basics for humanism. But do you dispute any of those? Would you add any? What's your thoughts? Give us your thoughts, Lucian.
So I would be curious about, I would like, maybe not in this conversation, but at the very least at some point in the future, for us to have, like, another chat where we go over, like, what you mean by logic. Because for me, humanism is, like, I'm curious about logic specifically because humanism is non-theistic, but that doesn't mean that it excludes theists. And I had this conversation the other day because I was at a humanistic conference in DC where I was with congregational humanists. So not theistic humanists, but like humanists who are like in churches and in spaces like that, organizing humanists.
Right.
And we talked about like theism and stuff. There are theistic humanists. That's not necessarily what I'm talking about, though. But aside from that, I agree with you on all the things. And I definitely agree with you in logic. I would just like to hear more of your thoughts about what logic means in this context.
Yeah.
Say that last part again. I'm sorry.
What do you more on your thoughts on logic and humanism?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. So what I try to do in the show, and I am answering your question, I promise, is I want to try to bring something that really helped me and my transition to atheism, humanism, and like left politically is philosophy. And the branch of philosophy is logic, like
critical thinking, Socratic method.
Yes, that's pretty much it. And just like the law of non-contradictory, and just trying to understand, does this make sense? Find logical fallacies in politics. I think that's really important. And like, because I try until I started saying, okay, I think I'm like a democratic socialist. I just said I'm just a humanist.
Right.
Like, I'll say that for what I am politically. Whatever policies aligned with that, that's what I am.
Right.
Right. So that's what I was saying. And I had a few pillars and of humanism, and one was morality. Another was like free speech, logic, because I want to make sure whatever I'm believing or backing up makes sense, and education. I feel like every single person on this planet should get a quality, fair education. Because without that, then you ain't got squat, son. You got nothing. So that's my thought. But I wouldn't put secularism. That's not one that I put down. I wouldn't say you need to give handouts to everyone. You just need to use a little logic. I'm not saying you have to use all of philosophy, but you need to use some logic.
Yeah.
You need to be concerned about morality, to say the least. I think you should definitely be an advocate for free speech, and you should believe that everyone deserves an education. That's what I think, and I really want to know from someone who's been a humanist longer than me and is closer to being a spokesperson, at least, give their thoughts about my thoughts.
I actually would put secularism. Okay, I would put secularism as a political stance for political humanism. And I'm working on a big old video talking about Humanist Tube, which was supposed to come out last weekend, but then last weekend there was Atheist Day. I wanted to talk about Atheist Day, all that fun stuff. I also had a big old paper due last weekend because I'm a graduate student in addition to everything else.
I know.
But I would put secularism in the governmental sense, not secularism in that Okay. Yeah.
And I just set that up because I'd like to make this list make sense and then share it on our Facebook and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I want people to know what they're getting to when watching our show. Because I know a lot of people who've joined our Facebook page, which is about 500 people right now, maybe a little over. Some people don't like talking politics, and that's okay. I get it, because politics are frustrating. But at the same time, that's what we do.
Right.
So don't get mad when we do that, because, and I'll tell you why. That's why I said because. Is because, one, I'm an atheist. All right, so atheist for humanism. Two, the politics comes in because that's what really kind of controls our lives.
Yeah,
right?
Policy.
Yeah, even if you really want to focus on religion, this is why I say we need to attack from all sides, especially when we're talking about atheism, or anti-theism or whatever. You need to attack politics too.
Yeah.
Because what are they trying to push into politics more? What did they just do in Texas? They like changed over the textbooks to more or less make Moses one of the founding fathers. We don't want. Right. How do you change it? Do you do it?
Influenced our founding fathers to write our Constitution, and I'm like,
praise Moses, maybe Moses down the river, saving their soul.
Not what happened.
No. No. What?
No, we don't even know if he ever even existed. So.
That's fair, but but how do you change?
Right, you have to get involved in politics.
Yeah, we can't just change that by just changing people's minds on the non sequitur show.
And you can't just complain about religion doing things when the best way to stop that is to get involved, informed. Policy is what changes that.
It's policy, because we can change as many hearts and minds, as we can on YouTube and beyond, in our community and beyond. But if there's no one political in there to help make these changes in policy, or at least keep our basic understanding, our government secular, then we're fucked anyways. We're just fucked anyways. So that's why I think it's so important that some of us in the community, even though it pisses some people off, get political.
Right, and atheists are the least represented anyway. So, I mean, who's better to represent us than speaking up for what we want? Hey, we're here, by the way. You know, what's her name? Bernie Sanders, Tina.
No. Damn it. Oh.
Tina Turner. When she does her speeches,
Nina Turner is the Bernie Sanders spokesperson.
Yes.
Yeah.
She mentioned, to my Christians, to my non-believers, to my atheists, it's so refreshing because we're there. Hello, I'm over here. Yeah, Mom, I'm atheist. There's, I heard Tulsi mention atheists 3 times now in her speeches.
In her very first video that she released for her campaign, she mentioned atheists too, and I was just like,
that's just not something that's normally heard in any American politics.
Right, and I think Obama did as well a couple times.
Yeah, but it wasn't the norm. He would say whether you believe or don't believe.
Right, and I'm like, it's nice to get that recognition, right? But if that's where it ends. If that's where it ends, it still doesn't matter. Like, and I love Tulsi Gabbard, but if she's not going to push for a secular government, like, I don't care. I'll stop caring at that point. I think it needs to be secular. I think we need to give people enough freedom to, practice their religion if you want. I'm a very strong Hitchensist at this point. You can play with your toys at home. I like to play with your toys. I don't want to play with your toys. I have my own toys to play with. No, don't tell me I can't play with my toys.
Right.
You can play with your toys. Keep them at your home. Go to your church and play with your toys. Don't make me play with your toys. And let me play with my own toys.
Right.
I think that's fair.
I do too.
I think that's fair. Yeah. That's where I am.
That's hilarious.
It's funny because as a humanist, part of the reason I'm so political is that I am a humanist. I'm a political activist. I work in North Carolina explicitly as a policy person for the North Carolina Democratic Party in the context of their Hispanic Democrats. I am one of their writers. I work with them to help craft policy proposals and also press statements and stuff. I'm one of the big writers for that organization. And I do that because I'm a humanist. Because these issues matter way more to me because of my humanism and all of that. That's part of the reason why I'm so fiercely vocal in spaces like Twitter, where I talk about politics a whole lot.
Yeah. No, I love that about you. Love, 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 love. Yes.
You're a hero.
Yes.
You are an extraordinary atheist for humanism.
Right.
And we really appreciate that. You were one of the first people that we lined up for the show because you're perfect for it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
thank you so much for coming on, and thank you so much for giving your input. Thank you so much for doing what you do and being part of both communities.
Being part of democracy.
Yes.
Democracy is messy. They're messy and they're aggravating and they're annoying and they never shut up. But if you don't, if you say, oh, I don't want any of that, it's annoying, well, other people are still going to make decisions, whether you're involved or not.
Yes.
Think about that. And if those people don't like you, they're not going to do anything that's going to be better for you if it's not better for them.
Yes. So while we have a humanist here and we're talking politics and we're talking about atheists, for all of our atheist viewers, especially our content creators, if you want any info, Christy has info and I want to share it. Like there's tons of info, but we both align ourselves with like democratic socialism.
Yeah, or
because
social
yeah, because that's like the closest thing to humanism politically that we can find. I'm pretty sure. And would you, Luciano, say that education, free speech, logic, morality, and political secularism are 5 decent pillars of humanism to like just say, all right, I think I can go with this and figure out what I like by policy.
And human rights.
Human rights.
I would say so. I have my own. I've never really thought about it, but I think that if I thought about it for a little bit, I could probably name some stuff that inform my particular branch of humanism. But that's because I view things through the lens that I'm trained in, which is human rights and peace and conflict studies.
Yes. Yeah, definitely peace and conflict. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and that's because Christy just said and human rights. Because
human rights.
If we don't pay attention to that, we have a lot of real bad war shit like Venezuela, Libya, Iran,
and we have governments that think they're better or above the law and do not let international criminal courts in.
The USA.
Just saying, stuff like that happens. And that's just insane. Our country is saying we don't give you consent to investigate crimes we've done. I don't care how much evidence you have.
I love our country.
What about consent? Hashtag me too.
I want it to be.
It's so frustrating.
It's late night. We're edgy up here.
Consent. Nobody cares about your consent. If you're committing war crimes or torture.
Did you murder these people? I don't have to answer that.
Republicans still about what?
Exactly. Yes. So it's very important as a humanist. If you care about these things.
Yes.
I'm not saying, go volunteer 30 hours a week.
No.
Just be informed.
Yeah, be informed.
Vote appropriately.
Figure out where you align yourself.
Yeah.
Or at least like close to it. Like put a little bit of effort in, because the evangelical right, they know where they align.
And
if you don't, then they outnumber you. Right? We need to stand together. We don't need to stand together politically, but you need to figure out where you lie politically so you feel like you have a voice. I think that's really, really important. Politics is important to your everyday life.
Right.
And anyone with a platform, you can what you can do with it if you want to.
You know what you could do.
What you could do with it. But if you don't, that's fine, because we all have our own ways of doing things, right? So this is ours. This is ours, and this is what we really love. But if you want to support us by sharing links, telling us, hey, you like what we do, we really, really appreciate that, and we'll keep doing it.
Do jazz hands for you.
Smash that subscribe button.
And smash that subscribe button for Luciano's Logic.
Lick it.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to...
I've made him giggle so many times. I think that's my favorite, is a Luciano giggle.
Luciano giggle.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put that in the live chat.
I don't know, Ken.
Yeah. I have the blue wrench now, but I don't have my channel pulled up. Let me see if I can... Wait.
Yeah.
I'm getting it ready.
It is also linked below. That's true. Let's see. I'm gonna see if I can get the link. Come on, there it is.
Flag
2.
Yes.
And
Gold star.
Thank
boom,
you.
there it is.
What star? I got there almost first. After. And I'm Christy Santiago, everyone.
Yeah, you are.
The mission was successful. You are now Christy Santiago.
We got there.
Surgery is complete.
Technology just laying around.
Yeah. We've had to ruin the climate to get the technology. That's why we have climate change. I'm sorry. It's all our fault.
It was worth it.
We've been fooling you with our new socialism ways.
Right?
We had you tricked with the Green New Deal.
The Green New Deal, exactly. It was
AOC was on our payroll the whole time.
The whole time.
Right? Oh yeah, Crenshaw said something about her being our leader, and like she's really like she's a face for like a lot of what we're advocating for right now.
She's
but
a
also
good person.
She is. But also, what actually makes me mad about this is. Yeah, because Bernie Sanders has done nothing for the last 40 years.
Right, it's all his platform. Yeah.
It's all AOC. It's all her. She started this movement. She started socialism. Did you know that?
She was the first socialist.
She's the founder
of socialism.
She's only 4 years older than me, and she was the world's first socialist.
Yeah.
She's actually the great uncle of Hitler.
Of Mussolini.
And Mussolini.
And Mussolini.
You know, Hitler and Mussolini, those socialists.
Those socialists. Yeah. Because it's the same thing as communism.
And you know, when people say, well, it's the Democratic Republic of Socialists of blah, 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 whatever country it might be, that has that in the name, and they're a horrible country. Well, see? That just means that they're not doing that. They just put it in their name because it makes them look good. It makes them sound good. China has it, and they're so not. They have
so does North Korea. They also have like the People's Republic of Korea.
Yes, and that's not how. No.
And you know what? 25th. Democracy and this country. You said it was like the 25th best.
Oh yes,
What
we were
was
the 27th, I think. Democracies get graded every single year by independent. This companies, this particular one, but all of them are independent. They do not care about who, what, where. Their whole job is to, as honestly as possible, grade democracies. And they grade them on so many levels. Freedom of the press, social just tons.
Availability of voting.
Participation in democracy. People that are voting, people that are part of organizations, unions. Unions are so important to a democracy. And we were 25th, 26th, 27th. I want to say 27th, but now you have it because you said 25th.
I thought it was.
Like
down the list. We're not awful. The best democracy by
Uruguay has a better democracy than the United States of America.
How does that make you feel?
Yes.
Ask the one Latino person in the stream. How does that make you feel?
Estonia has a better democracy. Costa Rica has a better democracy than the United States. No, I think that's great. But I'm sure there's a lot of people in my own personal family that would reject that. I mean, there's no way that could be possible unless they saw it themselves. And even then, they would think that it's coming from liberal media.
Right. So share this part with your friends on the right, because they think America's number one in everything.
We are number one at some things. We have the most for-profit prisons. We are number one at charging people for, like, oh, your leg's broken, it hurts. How much money do you have?
Right.
I mean, it doesn't really happen like that.
We're
I'm
also
being-
number one in like believing in angels.
Yes.
So.
Number one at a lot of
Yeah,
magical thinking.
There's that.
We're number one at science illiteracy, just about.
Neil deGrasse Tyson
Yeah.
just shed a tear somewhere.
I'm sure Russia is
God. They know.
as far as literacy, adult just reading literacy, Russia's like almost number one.
Yeah.
For adult literacy.
No,
they
all in
worked
commerce
really,
there.
really hard to push for literacy because in 1912, 1913, 1914, it was like 60% of the country was illiterate. You know, it was just for the elite. That was it. So they worked really hard. But America, as far as adult literacy, there's like 7% of adults in America are not fully literate. That's abhorrent. There's no reason for that. I mean, I would help any adult that needed to read for free. Come on, that's something you should want.
Yeah. It is.
Yes.
Education's important.
Yes.
But my point bringing that up shortly was just because the government says there's something doesn't mean there are something, right?
Right.
And you're giving something a bad name. Right now.
That's the whole point.
Right now, America is giving a bad name to
Socialism.
I was gonna say democracy.
Well,
That too.
It's trying to give a bad name to socialism. It's succeeding in giving a bad name to democracy.
Yep, and it's our second year in a row being graded by these international independent groups as being a flawed democracy. We haven't been a full democracy since 2016. 2016
What a weird thing happened in
the very
2016.
first time. Yep, we've got a full democracy every single year, which I don't know how with learning about like Iran Contra and all of that, which I guess it was a blip here and a blip there, but
Iran Contra. Is that
Iran Contra?
Is that like the Kama Sutra?
Yes.
It's that for Iranian people, obviously.
Yeah. I thought.
It's rainbows and happiness. It's freedom bombs coming. All about freedom. It's love bullets.
Oh no.
Nobody got hurt.
Now I'm sad.
Yeah, freedom rapes and stuff.
Oh.
All right, so we got questions apparently for me. Apparently.
Fine, Brantley says, single? What's FMK mean?
I don't know what
Fuck,
FMK.
marry, kill.
Fuck, marry, kill.
I knew that offhand, just immediately. I am a millennial.
Oh man. Christy.
Okay. So, I'll go ahead and answer
That's
the
you,
question.
Brantley.
So I am not single. I've been in YouTube videos. No, I actually haven't been in YouTube videos with my significant other yet. Oh no, that's not true. We have our podcast.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
So I'm dating someone named Anna. She is a Wiccan who lives in Georgia. She and I are high school sweethearts. She is great, and I love her very much. She's asleep right now because she's sick, but she's in spring break. And I was on the phone with her right before the podcast, which was now a while ago because we've been on the podcast for almost 2 hours. Fuck, marry, kill of the three folks. That's a difficult question. One, because I'm asexual and one of the people is a lesbian.
It could happen. You know, sexuality is a huge, long spectrum.
Yeah, sexuality is a spectrum. I agree.
Right. Yeah, you could have a one night of something.
Yeah, but then I still have to kill someone. Like,
Yeah.
it's easy to say marry and kill. Or no, it's not easy to say marry and kill. It's easy to say marry and fuck, but then the kill. That one's hard. I don't know, man.
Look, I would super understand if you just picked me to kill, but
There's always Eric Prince and people like his sister.
No, it's not. I can't pick any one. I have to pick of the three people.
Of the three.
That's the way the game works.
Christy, Nacho.
Oh, goodness.
You know, but I would just like to say that Nacho might not exist.
Yeah, we don't know.
True.
So
Australia's not real, so. That's an actual conspiracy theory,
and even
by
if
the
it is
way.
really, he's upside down, so it would be 69 the whole time anyway. So.
Nacho's actually me. That's why I'm so busy all the time.
So wait, you knocked yourself out of the call earlier? You're just like, all right, this has gone on long enough.
Right.
You know,
You're too fast for us. We couldn't get by it. I'm
really good at what I do.
But yeah, Australia's not real, that's an actual conspiracy theory.
I know.
Laser Guy, I can't remember the YouTuber's name. He started off like making gameplay videos, and now he does like commentary. Laserbeam, that's his name. One of his best videos was his video like making fun of this weird ass conspiracy theory, and it was the conspiracy theory that Australia is not real, which hurt him because he's Australian.
Which is really funny. Yes, I know.
I'm working on a podcast with someone who lives in Australia but is not Australian. She's American. She just pieced out of this country and moved to Australia.
Wow. Well, our Nacho's there, so. Australia was on the list of full democracies.
I'm not surprised.
So it was Norway and Finland and Iceland and Netherlands and Switzerland.
All the lands, basically, were full democracies.
Countries, yes, for sure.
Yes.
Also, yes, I am dodging that question. I'm going to go on to the next question, which is favorite color, and that is blue.
Good choice.
Blue's a good color.
Good choice. Yes.
Yes. And then, was there a last one? I know he said something. I can't remember.
There were three, I think. Let's see.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like an actual answer, but like it's difficult to like say, especially because like, you know, we don't know what Nacho looks like, or at the very least I don't know what Nacho looks like.
Just like the cartoon. You see the
honestly, I'm assuming like I assume he looks just like it.
Outfit? That's the one you see. Yeah.
Just a little bit sexier.
There's a lot of it sexier. Yeah, I love that one. That's my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be right back.
Can you just give me a soundbite of that so I can go to sleep to it? Or so I can sleep with that sound. Can we sleep with sound bites?
I don't know. You might get bit.
I'm asking all.
That was a bad pun. I'm not gonna allow it. That was a bad pun.
I'm only a little bit punny. It's a little bit punny.
My punny friend.
Birds flying high. You know how we feel. I can't sing, so I'm not gonna try. But
you miss half the chats if you don't do that. This thing right here, live and top. You want live always.
Christy's teaching me. I came here to teach her stuff, and she's teaching me shit.
Look, that's the way it often goes. The best teachers are taught by their students.
That's true. Gifts past. All right. I think we are pretty much done for the night because we do want people to watch all these videos, and if they're 2 hours long, it might not happen.
Yeah, they might say, "Listen, you guys. I mean, you're fun, but."
Yeah, but it's also like
you're not 2 hours long fun.
Did anybody get naked? Right, that's what we didn't say.
I mean,
I'm asexual. I never get naked. So
we're only dressed from the waist up because you know.
I mean, it's Florida, so it's okay. Laws don't exist in Florida.
The beach, so
yeah,
we left the beach and got here just in time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So thank you everyone in the live chat because we got even more than who were watching before the technical difficulties.
Talk to yourself.
So sorry about that.
Wonderful.
Nacho just has issues with his computer sometimes.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Nacho Witness, for producing this, as you always do, and being wonderful, as you always are. Thank you, Luciana, for coming on. And
there you can
discussing things with us and just being who you are and doing what you do. And I want to show mine too. No,
but you button your buttons.
If it makes you feel any better, I also buttoned my buttons.
Yeah, you just can make them stand upside down, Mac.
I guess I could.
Stand them upside down.
There we go.
The light is what's doing it. There you go.
Yeah.
You just gotta cover the light.
There we go.
Yeah.
But my first tattoo, guys.
He's so badassery right now.
So badass. I got a good hairdo from Christy, and I got a tattoo with Christy.
Just a girl.
Just a girl in love with Christy today.
Aww. That's
so. Thank you, everyone, for joining in tonight. We really hope you enjoyed the show. We hope you enjoyed the little surprise of us just hanging out, because it's fun for us, at least.
yeah.
And
it's Luciano.
Thank you so much for coming on, and thank you for being just like the best guest to like have on. You like qualify so hard.
Yeah.
So anytime you want to come back, anytime you want to add something to what we do, we would love to have you. We We really enjoy what you do. We really appreciate you making time to come on.
Yes, and get a cape.
So promote yourself. Tell our viewers where to find you. Tell them where to subscribe, although we put that in the chat already.
But still,
your Twitter, your Facebook.
So I do all the things on all the places. In addition to being a YouTuber, I'm also a writer, and I sometimes, very rarely, make memes. I'm gonna try to make more memes. I used to make a lot of memes when I was younger. So over this weekend, I'm probably not gonna upload a video. I'm gonna be a nice little gaby tomorrow at a conference in DC, which is honestly one of my favorite things to say. And now that I'm like open about being queer, I feel more comfortable.
good.
And then on Wednesday, I am going to be also, looks like my microphone might have changed, which is unfortunate. As long as I can be heard, it's all good though.
Yes, you're still the same.
Cool. So on Sunday, I'm going to be on Lavender Lady's show, which is going to be super fun. We're going to be talking about politics, as always, whenever I'm on. I am
gross.
True.
Politics.
That's how I feel.
She's good to talk to about
Diana's amazing.
But yeah, and I make YouTube videos over on Luciano's Logic. I write over on Luciano Writes. I say my name differently, apparently, if I'm talking about my Twitter, which is great.
You just switch it up. You're the boss of your own name. I do what I want.
I don't need to be consistent. This is my name.
That's right. I call myself what I want. Oh no, your mic got quiet.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yep. You're back. Uh-oh. No, don't leave us.
Don't tell him about his video.
Yeah, don't.
That said,
it's just been one difficult episode.
it has.
Good thing we just laugh at everything.
Yeah. Well, that being said, I think we're gonna go ahead and close out and hope he comes back after the show.
Yeah.
Maybe. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you, live chat. We had one lady, we had Vibrantly Brantley, Atheist Joke Boy, Beelzebub. We had
Wonder Lady. That's
yes.
Atheist Joke Boy.
Smitty, Doc Fearsome.
It's good people.
I
saw Jim Majors there earlier. Yes.
Yes.
Hello, Jim
Thank you,
Majors.
everyone. Oh, and Neil the.
Oh, and Sharon Formation. Thank you for stopping by and saying hi.
Thank you so much.
I always see her. She demolishes trolls like amazing.
Did you eat them for breakfast?
Yes,
Yummy.
with not cooking or she's just an amazing. She handles trolls with facts all the time on all these political sites I go to. It was awesome that she showed up. It's good stuff.
Well, yeah, I think that's all then. Thank you, everyone. And Luciano's in the chat saying, what timing? Ha ha. But thank you, everyone. We will see you next week with another topic. We haven't decided yet. You'll find out when we find out.
Yeah.
Or after.
There won't be alcohol involved, so it'll be easy to figure it out.
Well, at least on one side. And so thank you, everyone. And thank you, everyone, once again for helping set up this new setup that Christy has. We'll be posting on the LEAH Twitter page what Christy has now. And
yeah, I'll put some pictures up.
Yeah. So thank you, everyone, for helping this podcast be possible and for joining in and watching and making us feel important for an hour every week.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So,
It's been an amazing experience.
Good night.
Can't wait to do more.
Stay humanist for Godless sake.